On the set of Outlander, the yellow light shone through the backdrops. The smoke from the effect machine drifted, creating an atmosphere that seemed to blend between reality and the world in the movie. Sam Heughan stood there, in Jamie Fraser's classic costume. His eyes accidentally caught Caitriona Balfe, who transformed into Claire Randall. Among dozens of crew members, that moment seemed like only two people. The director shouted, "Action!" The scene began. Sam approached, his strong hand gently placed on Caitriona's waist, while his eyes were fixed on her sparkling blue eyes. Every gesture seemed too real, beyond the framework of acting. When their lips touched, the crew fell silent. The air seemed to be sucked out. The kiss scene lasted longer than expected, to the point that the director had to cut the scene. Sam chuckled, while Caitriona blushed, trying to hide it with an embarrassed smile. When the cameras stopped, no one spoke, but everyone could feel the sweet tension that surrounded them. Caitriona walked off the set, Sam quietly following. In a hidden corner behind the wings, he whispered, "You know, sometimes I forget where the line is between Jamie and Sam." Caitriona looked up at him, her lips trembling but no words came out. Their eyes met, a silent truth was acknowledged. In the following days, each scene carried a strange energy. Sam always found a way to keep Caitriona around for a few minutes after the end. Sometimes just to laugh together, sometimes just to say a few words about nothing. But it was those little things that made both of their hearts beat faster. The crew members began to whisper, "Are they acting, or are they living?" Late one evening, after the crew had left the set, Sam returned because he had forgotten his phone. He was surprised to see Caitriona still there, sitting quietly by the dressing table, her eyes distant. He walked over and put his coat on her shoulders. She was startled, then chuckled softly. "I always appear at the right time." Sam did not answer, just bent down and placed a gentle kiss on her forehead, completely different from the passion on screen. At that moment, they were no longer Jamie and Claire, but simply Sam and Caitriona, two people caught up in a love that even they could not distinguish between what was real and what was acting. The eyes, smiles, and light touches were like fire burning into their hearts, making both of them clearly know that the boundary had been broken long ago. Every time they entered the scene, they no longer needed to act, because their hearts had written their own script, a sweet, intense and mysterious love story, hidden right behind the lens, belonging only to the two of them. Under the dim lighting of the studio, the following days became a series of memories that both Sam and Caitriona could hardly escape. Each scene, each line seemed to be breathed life into their real heartbeats. Sometimes the director even exclaimed, "You two don't need to act. Just looking at each other is enough to make the audience believe that this is true love." That made the whole crew both admire and doubt. Whispers began to spread everywhere. A studio assistant accidentally whispered, "Have you seen the look Sam gave Caitriona? It's not like acting at all." A lighting staff replied, "I think they're hiding something from us." The rumors spread quickly, like fire catching on dry straw. Sam knew he was standing on a fragile boundary. The closer he got to Caitriona, the more he felt control slipping away from his hands. One evening, when they both stayed to watch the footage they had just filmed, Caitriona's eyes accidentally met his on the screen. Her heart skipped a beat, because she realized those eyes were not Jamie's, but Sam's, the man sitting right next to her, his warm breath close to her ear. "Are you ever afraid?" Caitriona asked softly, her voice trembling. Sam turned around, smiling gently but his eyes were burning. "I'm only afraid of one thing, that you'll leave me before I can say it." She was stunned. That confession was like a blow to the wall they both tried to build. The atmosphere became thick. There was no distance between them. Sam reached out to touch her cheek, the touch so light that it seemed like only a fleeting moment, but it made Caitriona shiver. She gently closed her eyes, letting his lips find hers. That kiss was different from the kisses on screen. There was no staging, no stage lights, no shouts of action. It was a real kiss, passionate, trembling, filled with all the long-suppressed desire. When they both pulled away, their eyes were shining, as if they had both admitted a great secret that no one else knew. But love in the dark always has hidden dangers. A few days later, when they were sitting alone in a hidden corner, a member of the film crew happened to pass by. That person caught a glimpse of Sam's hand holding Caitriona's, his eyes looking at her affectionately. Although Sam and Caitriona quickly let go, the moment was caught. And it didn't take long for the rumors to become more intense. One morning, Caitriona walked onto the set, immediately feeling everyone's scrutiny. Some sneered, some whispered behind her back. She tried to stay calm, walking straight to the makeup room. Sam followed, his eyes showing worry. "Don't worry," he whispered. "How can I not worry, Sam? We're getting too much attention. If this gets out..." Caitriona stopped, her voice choked. Sam took her hand and squeezed it. "I don't care. I just know that I can't pretend anymore. What about you? Do you feel the same way?" Caitriona's eyes wavered between her head and her heart, between duty and desire. But in the end, she nodded slightly. "I do. And that's what scares me the most." That night, the two decided to leave the studio after everyone had left. They drove to a remote suburb, where no one knew, just to have a few hours to themselves. Sitting together under the stars, Caitriona leaned her head on Sam's shoulder, listening to his heartbeat. "Maybe one day, we'll have to face it all," she said softly. Sam tightened his embrace and replied, "When that day comes, I won't hide. But tonight, I just want you here." In the darkness, in the silence, their love exploded like an unquenchable fire. The touches, the kisses, the whispers became proof of a love that transcended the screen. However, dawn always brings reality. When returning to the studio the next morning, Sam and Caitriona had to hide all their emotions, returning to their roles as actors in front of dozens of eyes. But just one look, a fleeting smile, both of them understood that the truth still existed, secret, passionate, and dangerous. Day by day, that connection became clearer. In every scene, no dialogue, no script, they just needed to look into each other's eyes to understand. The audience out there was captivated by the overwhelming authenticity, but no one expected that it was no longer acting. It was real love, burning right in front of the lens. And then, an unexpected challenge appeared. A reporter who specialized in hunting for behind-the-scenes news noticed the unusualness in their relationship. This person quietly followed, capturing moments that seemed harmless but revealed an undeniable intimacy. Sam and Caitriona were suddenly thrust into a dangerous situation. Their love was in danger of no longer being a secret. One tense evening, Sam looked straight into Caitriona's eyes and said, "If the world knew, I wouldn't deny it. I'm not ashamed of this love. But I'm afraid you'd be the one to get hurt." Caitriona was silent for a long time, then smiled softly, her eyes sparkling. "I'd rather live with the sweet truth than run away with lies. We've crossed the line, Sam. There's no turning back." Out there, the door to truth was waiting to open. And their love, though fragile, had become something that could not be hidden forever. And then, in one of the final shoots of the season, the camera panned to Sam and Caitriona. Their eyes locked for a moment longer than necessary. Unbeknownst to them, candid photos were about to appear in the papers. They said nothing, just exchanged knowing smiles. No matter what the world might say, no matter what the truth might reveal, at this moment, their love was theirs, secret, sweet, and unending.